At a railway station in a city, there lived a beggar. He would beg from the passengers on the trains that came and went, and that's how he fed himself. One day, while he was begging, he saw a tall man dressed in a suit and boots. The beggar thought, "This man looks very rich. If I beg from him, he will surely give me good money." So, he started begging from the tall man. Seeing the beggar, the tall man said, "You always keep begging. Do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I always ask people for help. How can I afford to give anything to anyone?" The tall man said, "If you can't give anything to anyone, then you have no right to beg. I am a businessman, and I believe in give and take. If you have something to give me, only then can I give you something in return." After saying this, the tall man boarded the train and left. The beggar started thinking about what the tall man had said. His words had touched the beggar's heart. He thought, "Maybe I don't get much money because I don't give anything in return. But I am just a beggar. I don't have anything to give. How long will I keep asking without giving anything?" After much thought, the beggar decided that from now on, he would give something in return to anyone who gave him alms. But the question in his mind was, what can I, a beggar, give to others in return? 2 days passed, and he still couldn't find an answer. On the third day, while sitting near the station, he noticed some flowers blooming on the plants nearby. He thought, "Why don't I give flowers to people in return for alms?" He liked this idea and plucked some flowers. Now, whenever someone gave him money, he would give them a flower in return. People happily accepted the flowers. Over time, the beggar noticed that more and more people started giving him alms. He would pluck all the flowers near the station and distribute them. As long as he had flowers, people gave him money, but when the flowers ran out, the alms stopped too. This became his daily routine. One day, while begging, he saw the same tall man sitting on the train. The beggar immediately went up to him and said, "Today, I have something to give you in return. If you give me alms, I will give you some flowers." The tall man gave him some money, and the beggar handed him a few flowers. The tall man liked this gesture and said, "Wow, now you've become a businessman like me." After saying this, he got off at his station. The tall man's words once again touched the beggar's heart. He kept thinking about what the man had said and felt very happy. His eyes sparkled, and he felt as if he had found the key to success. He immediately got off the train, looked up at the sky, and shouted excitedly, "I am not a beggar anymore, I am a businessman. I can become rich too." People around him thought he had gone mad. From the next day, the beggar was never seen at the station again. 6 months later, 2 well-dressed men in suits were traveling through the same station. They saw each other, and one of them shook hands with the other and asked, "Do you recognize me?" The other man replied, "No, I think we are meeting for the first time." The first man smiled and said, "No, we have met twice before. I am the beggar you met on this train. The first time, you told me what I should do in life, and the second time, you told me who I really am." The second man smiled in surprise and said, "Oh, I remember now. You are that beggar whom I once refused to give alms, and the second time, I bought flowers from you. But now, you are dressed in a suit. What are you doing these days?" The first man replied, "Yes, I am that beggar. But now, I am a big flower merchant. I am traveling to another city for business." After a pause, he added, "You taught me the law of nature, that we receive only when we give. This rule really works. I realized that people were not giving me alms but were paying for the flowers. I was a small businessman in their eyes, but in my own eyes, I was still a beggar. When you told me I was a businessman, I understood my true potential. I used the money I earned from selling flowers to buy more flowers and became a flower merchant. The people here love flowers, and their love has made me a successful businessman." Both men were happy. When they reached the station, they got off together and talked about their businesses. Moral of the story. This story teaches us that success lies in our mindset. If we think small, we will remain small. To achieve big things, we must change our thinking and believe in ourselves. The beggar changed his mindset, stopped seeing himself as a beggar, and became a successful businessman. The key to success is self-respect, a positive mindset, and the willingness to give before expecting to receive.